So, what if I told you that you could get 100% of your pay for working only 80% of the time and still maintain 100% of your productivity? I know, it sounds a little too good to be true, right? But it's actually a new framework for work that's getting some serious attention. So, let's break down what this 180-100 model is all about and how it could possibly work. Okay, at its heart, the 180-80-100 model is pretty much what it says on the 10. It's this simple, really powerful promise. You get your full pay, but for fewer hours, and in exchange, you deliver the same level of output. Now, the secret here isn't about just cramming 5 days of frantic work into 4. No way. It's about completely rethinking what work is actually valuable and getting rid of all the stuff that isn't. All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the modern work crisis, why we even need something new. Then we'll get into a really cool metaphor that kind of unlocks the whole solution. After that, we'll check out the data behind what's called the double win for companies and employees. And finally, we'll look ahead and see how AI might just make this the new normal for everyone. So, first things first, why are we even talking about this? Well, the truth is, for a lot of us, the way we work right now is just broken. There's this hidden tension in the modern workplace, and honestly, it's hitting a breaking point. This image here really says it all. On one side, you've got us, the workers, and we're looking for stability, for some kind of anchor in our lives. But on the other side, organizations need to be incredibly agile, constantly changing to survive in this crazy market. And these two things are pulling in completely opposite directions, creating a ton of strain on everybody. And the result of this constant tug of war? Burnout. We're all feeling it. You know that feeling when your day is jam-packed with stuff that feels like work? Back-to-back meetings, a never-ending inbox, admin tasks, but none of it feels like the real work? That's what we're talking about. We're stuck in a loop where the process of working is actually getting in the way of making any real progress. And check this out. The data totally backs this up. In the last couple of decades, the time we spend in meetings, on calls, and answering emails has shot up by 50% or even more. We're literally drowning in what the experts are calling collaboration overload. And it's just killing our most precious resource, time to actually think and do deep, focused work. Okay, so if the big problem is a total lack of focus, then what's the fix? This is where the 180-100 model really starts to shine. And the whole idea can be boiled down to one simple, powerful question that came from a pretty surprising place. This right here requires a huge mental shift. Forever, we've lived by this simple but really flawed idea. More hours equals more output. This new model just flips that completely on its head. It says the real secret to productivity isn't the quantity of hours you put in, but the quality of your focus during those hours. The key to unlocking that focus is this concept called slack. And no, we're not talking about slacking off. It's about intentionally creating pockets of unscheduled, unassigned time that employees get to control. By getting rid of all the low-value work, the company gives that time back as a gift, letting people use it for deep work or to innovate or maybe just to recharge their batteries. This brings me to this awesome story about the British men's rowing team. For years, they were pretty good, but they just couldn't win the big one. Then they adopted this new, ridiculously simple rule. Before they did anything, a new workout, a team meeting, you name it, they had to ask themselves one simple question. And their strategy, as you can see, was just ruthless. Step 1, define the one thing that matters. For them, make the boat go faster. Step 2, look at every single thing you do and measure it against that goal. Step 3, if the answer isn't a hard yes, just stop doing it. For them, the result was an Olympic gold medal. Now, in the workplace, there's a fourth, really critical step. You take all that time you save from useless tasks and you give it back to your people. Okay, so a rowing strategy is one thing, but does this actually work in the real world, in an office? Well, the data says yes, absolutely. When companies actually do this, the results are incredible, creating what they call a double win for the business and for the people who work there. The data from the real-world trials is just so compelling. Look at the business side of things. Productivity was fully maintained, and get this, absenteeism dropped dramatically. But the human side is just as amazing. Job stress went down by almost 10%, and overall employee health actually got better by 13%. It's a clear win-win. And here's the other huge benefit. People actually want to stick around. In a world where it's so hard to find and keep good people, this model makes employees much less likely to leave. That kind of loyalty and retention, you can't put a price on that.
This engine analogy is just the perfect way to think about it. The 180-100 model is like giving your company a massive engine upgrade. You're using less fuel, which is hours, to go the same distance, which is productivity. And because you've gotten rid of all that friction from pointless work, there's way less wear and tear on the most important part of the whole machine, your people.
Now, this all sounds great, but a huge question is still hanging out there. Can this really scale up for the whole economy? And that brings us to our last section, and the role of some seriously powerful new tech, because the rise of artificial intelligence might just be the thing that takes the 4-day workweek from a cool experiment to the new global standard. You see, AI is basically the perfect tool to put this whole model on steroids. Think of it as a supercharged version of that rowing team strategy. AI can automate all those boring, low-value tasks that eat up our days. It can scan workflows and spot inefficiencies we'd never see. Basically, AI can become an engine for creating that valuable slack time on a massive scale, freeing us humans up to do what we do best, be creative, think critically, and solve really complex problems. And so that leaves us with this final, really critical question. As AI gets more and more powerful, we're going to face a choice. We can use all that power to just demand more and more output, running that engine harder and faster than ever, or we can use this incredible technological gift to redesign work itself, to create a future that's not just more productive, but more balanced, more sustainable, and, more human. The choice is really up to us.